Welcome back to my channel. Today is all about piercings. I'm going to be talking about the piercings I have, where I got them, what the recovery process was like, and how I feel about it now. First off, I'm just going to show you what I have. I have the standard ear piercing, both ears. Then I have a second hole. Have cartilage in my left ear. And then I have a nose piercing. Starting with the standard ear piercing, I got that when I was 13 years old. Got it done at Walmart. I don't really remember why we ended up at Walmart. It wouldn't be my first choice if I were recommending somewhere to get your ears pierced. However, I had a great experience. The lady who pierced my ears was very professional. She did a great job. It was painless. And I got a bottle, something like this, of solution, you know, wipe it around both sides of the ear, around the piercing, twist it this way, twist it the other way, and the process wasn't that painful at all. I recovered, what's the recovery time? It's usually like 6 months, something like that, but these were super easy to deal with. I never really had a problem. 1 or 2 times my piercing may have gotten irritated and crusted up a little bit, but it wasn't that bad at all. Moving on to the next piercing I got, which was my nose piercing. I got that when I was 18, and I had it done in Dallas, Texas at a place called Lobe. Highly recommend. I had such a great experience. First of all, when you get it done, you're not supposed to have this done with a gun. That is very important. If you go somewhere and they try to pierce your nose with a gun, that is a major red flag. Nose piercings are supposed to be done with a needle. I heard a lot of different stories. People that said it didn't hurt, people that said it hurt a lot. There's something about the connection up here. It causes your eyes to tear up because it stings. It did sting a little bit, but I wasn't screaming in pain. I barely even winced in pain. The healing process, like my standard ear piercing, wasn't bad at all. Once or twice it got irritated, really red, but no horror stories until I took matters into my own hands. Basically, I decided that I wanted a nose ring because I got a stud when I got it pierced, and I really wanted to try out a nose ring. My mom got me one at Claire's. She just saw it and knew I wanted one, so she got it for me. It, right off the bat, really irritated me. And also, another thing we didn't think about, besides the irritation, was the fact that the gauge size was smaller. So I would put it in, and my nose piercing was slowly closing up. That one irritated me, so we got a more expensive one that we thought would be better. And honestly, I don't know what I did wrong, but I just had the worst experience with nose rings. I couldn't figure out, I don't know what I was doing wrong, like the shaping of it. I don't know if I was putting it in wrong, but like I always had to like pull it apart a little bit, stick it in, then shape it back into a circle, and it was always looking lopsided. I don't know. Where did I pick up these nose rings? Because no one else seemed to have to do that. At a certain point, I decided to get a new stud for my nose, and the stud I bought was okay. It didn't irritate my nose. It was fine. It was still a smaller gauge, just like the nose rings, but I didn't like the post of it as much. It wasn't the L shape that this one is. It was, I believe, a corkscrew kind of thing. It wasn't that bad. I can't remember exactly what happened with that. It was a whole scenario going from one nose ring to another to a new stud. I think eventually I just decided that I wanted to go back to my original stud and stick with it and just leave it alone. Of course, my piercing had closed up because of the smaller gauges, so when I tried to get it in, I ended up having a complete meltdown because it hurt, it wouldn't go back in. I was doing that for 30 to 60 minutes. I don't even know how long I spent in that bathroom. So I went back to the piercing place, explained the problem, and she told me that I should try Neosporin on the post. That would help it slide a little bit. She said that the piercing doesn't close up permanently. It'll take a little pushing, but it will go back in and stretch it out again. This time around, I took it slow. I put Neosporin on the post, and what I did was, instead of trying to really jam it in there, I put it right on the piercing, lightly applied pressure, and let it fall into place on its own. I've taken it out for certain things here and there, but I haven't changed anything at all. I would highly recommend that if you change your mind and want a nose ring or this and that, talk to a professional. Either go back to the place where you got it pierced, or talk to somebody you know that's a professional, or go somewhere where you know they're professional. I would just highly recommend, don't do it on your own. My nose is fine now. It's honestly, nose piercing is super easy. Besides the drama that I brought on myself. It was all my fault. So that's my personal horror story that has nothing to do with the actual process or the piercing itself. It's just, ugh. I don't know why these things happen to me. I don't know why I bring them upon myself. That brings me to my spur of the moment piercings. I randomly decided that I wanted a second hole in both my ears, as well as a cartilage piercing. So here's what I did. I went to Claire's and I got it done, and it was painless. It didn't hurt that bad. These were super easy. Ear piercings down here generally don't hurt because it's a fattier area. There's a lot of cushion. Cartilage can hurt. I know that different people have different experiences. Thankfully, the person who did my piercing at Claire's was really professional. She did a great job, and it didn't hurt at all. I would say that in terms of recovery, this was the hardest because you're not supposed to sleep on it. That can rip it or irritate it. And I like to sleep on my stomach. I really hate sleeping on my back. I do it, but then I have to turn over. I'm constantly tossing and turning. So those parameters didn't last long with me. I tried to sleep a lot on this side, but obviously your neck can only take so much. So this one, it did hurt quite a lot. Even to this day, I usually sleep in my earring. You don't have to. It would probably hurt less if you did. I sleep in it because I'll forget to put it in the morning. That's why I'm in pain. Once again, that has to do with me, not the piercing. The recovery process, however, that took some getting used to. There was a little bit of pain. I did have a couple of flare-ups where it got really irritated and I got a big pimple-like bump on the back of it, and I had to deal with that. Use the cleanser and heal that up. So that happened a couple of times. In terms of putting earrings in and taking them out, none of my piercings really hurts. This one doesn't at all. These down here never hurt. My nose, no. Some things that are annoying to me, swimming. I really love to swim. I don't go often anymore because I don't live in a neighborhood with a pool, but that was one of the things that used to annoy me. Also going to the beach. Sometimes I'll take it out altogether when I'm swimming just to make it easier on myself. Besides that, there's not really anything. Also when I'm sick and I'm blowing my nose, especially if I'm at work, if I'm constantly having to deal with this thing coming out, I would rather go without wearing it. I've gone a couple of days without wearing it and getting it back in was fine. Didn't hurt at all. Not a problem. It's just easier that way. Since I stuck with my original nose stud, it is a thicker gauge, so it's not so easy for it to slip in and out. I know a lot of people struggle with that, but my post is thicker, so it doesn't slide out as often. It's mostly when I'm like blowing my nose or I get hit in the nose, something like that. That's when it'll kind of slip out. But other than that, it stays put really well. Just to recap, standard ear piercing, I got it done when I was 13 at Walmart. Nose piercing, I got done when I was 18 at Lobe. Second ear piercing and cartilage, I got done when I was 22 at Claire's. For earlobe piercings, after 6 weeks, you can change the earring, but an earring must be worn at all times for 6 months. For the cartilage, the earring can be replaced after 8 to 12 weeks, but an earring must be worn at all times during 12 months or a full year. For my nose piercing, after about 8 weeks, you can change the jewelry, but it is advised that you leave something in the piercing up to 6 months or a year. The cleaning for all my piercings was the same. I had to clean both sides of the piercing and then twist in both directions a couple of times after, of course, washing my hands. I had to try not to lay on them, do anything that would unnecessarily irritate them. In terms of recovery, everything was super easy. The most difficult was probably the cartilage. That one got the most irritated while I slept. That is all of the piercing knowledge that I have for you today. If you have any comments or questions, I would love to chat with you in the comment section below. If this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the red button down below to subscribe and become a member of my YouTube family. Also, click the bell to turn on your notifications. I will see you in my next video. Bye!